It's shitting itself. Okay.
Sorry.
Sick.
Sick. And we're
Sick.
on. But the
Look,
thing is,
look, what does that look like? That's a wine bag, but it doesn't look like
it's
a
an
wine
old
bag.
Dutch chip bag is what it is.
It's filled with wine.
Or Pops, the cereal. You ever
The
had
Pops.
Pops
No, what's
cereal?
Pops?
Pops is just like corn.
It's not my dad
It's
you're
like a
talking
corn
about,
flake.
are you?
No, not Pops. Not Pops. But it's like cornflakes, but it's like corn.
Oh, that's
it's like
the
little,
weird
little pop
corn looking,
things.
or like it's like a corn nut
Yeah,
kind
it's
of a
like
thing.
A corn nut, yeah. And
Well-
it's got like a little, like a styro, like a
Okay.
this kind of bag outside of it.
Do you like potato chips like that? Like, would you just?
No,
No, I don't either.
no.
But I would
more
eat
of a
that. I would
Dutch
drink
guy.
that.
You would drink this?
I would. Here.
Slap it. It's tough. You have to hold the mic. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, dude, that's so old, bro. That's like
I'm not gonna
months
lie, I don't-
old, man.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's like months old,
it's
man.
been sitting in my fridge for about 3 months.
It's just slowly going down, but I'm not gonna let you do it alone. I won't.
Thank
let you.
you.
Do it alone.
Thank you.
How do you work this?
There we go. It doesn't have a nozzle. You gotta kind of like put
Oh, it's
your.
on the bottom.
There it is. That's amazing. All right, let's get to the show.
All right. Cool.
Welcome everybody. This is the Sota Show.
Yeah, this is the Sota Show.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. First of all.
It's Minnesota's first real music podcast show-ish thing.
Emphasize real.
Whatever it is, it's great, and we're happy to be here. I'm your host. I'm d.mo, here with my other host, Xquisite.
Exquisite. How we doing, guys?
Yes, of course, you can always find us at the Sota Show on social media, on IG. Look us up. Also, mine is d.mo go dumb on Instagram and Twitter.
Mine's Exquisite 507. That's with an X.
That's right.
There's no E. It's just Exquisite.
Just X, baby.
Yep.
And if you want to email us any questions, we've got an email, f3entertainment507@gmail.com
At gmail.com.
for your questions, cues, queries,
Yes.
and
And information that you would like us to know.
no insults, please.
You know what? We do like harsh criticism.
But
I
no
will, I will
insults.
say that. My dad is very good at that.
I have a fragile heart, so
Yeah.
don't
He
crush
does.
me.
He does.
Anyways, let's get on to the show. I mean, this is an amazing thing. I'm excited for it. We have our first segment. It's called News.
News with Exquisite himself.
News. Brought to you by Xquisite.
No, and the great thing about today is, it's January 2nd.
Yes.
We're just starting off the
the year. This is episode 1
Yeah.
of the first season of the Sota Show.
I hope everyone had a great New Year. I know I did.
I did too.
I hurt myself. I fell.
What did you do for New Year's? First of all, before we get into news,
Okay.
what did you do to hurt yourself?
For the New Year, I don't remember, per se. All I know is I woke up in my bed, and I had 3 burn marks on my forearm here.
Burn marks.
And then a big bruise right here. But they weren't like fire burn marks. They were like rug carpet burns.
Oh, carpet burns.
Yeah, like I fell
Okay.
down the stairs.
Damn.
Don't remember it.
We don't even have carpet on our stairs at home, so I don't know how you
That's
could
what
do
I'm
that.
saying. So I either went into someone else's house,
Yes.
fell down their stairs, and then went back home
And then left.
and then slept in my bed, or someone just ripped up a piece of carpet and then just went like this.
Just
somehow.
rubbed it on your arm
Yeah.
vigorously.
Yeah, one of the two. But other than that, it was a great New Year. We went downtown, the classic time.
We did go downtown.
Mhm.
That was the first time I was downtown in probably 2 months.
It's been a long time for me.
It's been a minute, and I probably won't go back anytime soon.
I mean, you have that, you turn 21 and you have that, boom, that urge to go.
You
all
climb the
time.
mountaintop,
Exactly.
.
And then you get done, you turn 22, 23. I'm 24 now.
Yes.
And I'm just like over it at
I'm
this
over
point.
it. I'm just
I
trying
ain't got the money to do it.
I'm just trying to get drunk at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because one, it's easier.
Yeah.
It's less spendy.
Yeah.
And you don't, fall and get rug marks all over your arm.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, I mean, unless you have carpeted stairs,
That's true.
but we don't.
But anyways, let's get into news. There's a lot of things
news.
happening. We have new news. We have old news.
So yeah, you might notice that it's news, 3 news.
That's right.
So the first news is we're gonna do what happened today in music.
That's
okay?
right.
We were
Throughout
talking
history, on this day, which is January 2nd, that we are filming.
currently in. I got this off of thisdayinmusic.com.
Yes.
There's my alarm.
What
And
do we
we're going
do
to
during
go.
podcasts, ladies and gentlemen? We shut off our phones.
I know. That's my bad. So,
Here we go.
first day jitters on the job here.
Here we
It's been-
go.
it's a good time.
First news topic. What do we got here?
So, Dylan, what do you when I say the Beatles, who do you think of?
I think of, well, first of all, I think of, my grandparents. They show me a lot of the Beatles, a lot of older music. But I think of Paul McCartney, John Lennon.
Yeah.
I think of George Harrison, and I
Yeah.
think of Ringo Starr. Those are the four Beatles.
Okay,
correct?
well that is the Beatles. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. That's
awesome.
exactly
Hey,
right. Good job.
music.
Yeah. So what surprised me when I read this actually was you usually think Paul McCartney, John Lennon, the more popular.
Typically the front man
right,
of
exactly.
the group.
But on this day, George Harrison released an album, All Things Must Pass, and it was actually the first #1 U.S. Billboard that any solo member of the Beatles has ever had.
So George Harrison was the first charting solo act of
Yep.
the Beatles. Not John Lennon.
Not John
was you're saying?
Lennon, not John Lennon, not Paul McCartney.
Wow.
The first guy from the Beatles to make it on the Billboard Top 10, #1 in the U.S.
What did he get on the top 10 with?
It was All Things Must Pass. It was an album.
Okay. Oh, it was the album. Okay.
And hit single My Sweet Lord
Okay.
off of that album.
All right.
1971. What a flashback to the past on that one.
Yeah. I don't even know.
You
I
were
was
like negative 25.
I was negative. Yeah, pretty much.
27.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, that's pretty old.
But yeah, what's your favorite? I mean, speaking of the Beatles, what is your favorite era of the Beatles? What do you like the most about the Beatles?
The thing I like the most about the Beatles is their evolution, I would say, and their diverse music that they did.
It had so many
'Cause
kinds of music.
At the beginning, they did the boy band thing.
Yep.
They would do I Wanna Hold Your Hand, making the girls wet.
That's right.
Right?
Pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
what they were doing. They were just trying to make the girls wet. They were living the life of a bachelor back in the day, British life.
Yo, being a man in your 20s in
Yep.
Britain
Yep.
in the 1960s, 70s.
Yep.
They were
Hell
living
of
the
a
high
time.
life.
Hell of a time.
That's right.
They couldn't go anywhere without someone noticing them. That's crazy. But another thing is the evolution of it. But when they really hit their drug phase, if that makes sense, like Yellow Submarine,
They
those
start
weird,
kind of weirder, kind of more
songs,
trippy.
more abstract sounds coming in. Having literally a sailor screaming on a track. It's pretty dope.
I mean, I think the first actual Beatles song I heard might have been Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine.
Low-key.
That's a good one.
I
That or
think-
Strawberry Fields. Usually people
Yes.
Let It Be.
Let It Be is good. Help. I remember that was always on the jukebox. I remember that one. That and 8 Days a Week was on the jukebox at my grandpa's place.
Did you know, actually, fun fact about Help? It's actually about them smoking weed for the first time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's a topic.
I think it was
could talk about.
Bob Dylan, maybe, they smoked with?
Really? Not Willie Nelson.
Not Willie Nelson. This isn't a confirmed fact, but I believe it was Bob Dylan that smoked him up for the first time.
Wow.
And then they wrote that song, Help.
Shout out to Bob Dylan, Minnesota guy.
Yeah. Shout out to Bob Dylan.
And for getting the Beatles on drugs too.
Right.
You know what I mean? We
Right.
wouldn't have had those
We wouldn't have had so many
crazier
great
albums.
songs. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then actually another fun fact, first time that they ever tripped, they were at their dentist's and he put the acid in their tea.
Oh,
So they
snap.
didn't even know they were tripping. They just started tripping.
That's crazy, actually.
Oh my! If you've ever tripped and that's the first time you're tripped,
Wait,
it's crazy.
did the dentist actually
Oh yeah,
do that to them? They didn't know?
they didn't know. Put it in their tea. Then they just started tripping out.
That's kind of crazy, actually. If my
Yeah.
dentist did that to me,
Right.
I might like going to the dentist.
His name was Krentis.
His name was Krentis?
Krentis the dentist. Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right, on to our next news.
Yeah, what's our next topic?
So that was our news for the day, and now we're gonna do another news, but more local.
More local Minnesota news.
So we got some questions in, and we had some questions of our own. But being our own artists, we have our own ideas on what a venue should be or how a venue should treat the artist or vice versa.
Well, we've toured a few different places around Minnesota, up in Minneapolis, even I guess in the Midwest, we've
Right.
performed all over the place. So I think like venues specifically, there's so many more things that can be done to help the artist and that would also help the venue.
And a big thing is communication, really. I
Yeah.
feel like there's always this mindset that the venue says all the shots, right? Like it's their place, they do it,
Yeah.
and the artist is just there to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
But if the venue and the artist can work together, whether it's promoting, whether it's working out schedules and lineups together to make everything work more efficiently, I think communication is going to be one of the key things that artists and venues need to do.
Well, especially in Minnesota, where the Minnesota culture is so spread out with music. I mean, there's every kind of music here, but I feel like there's the middleman, right? Is the promoter usually, whoever's setting it up.
Right.
I wish there was an easier connection between the venue and the artist.
Right.
And I think like a good way to have that would be like someone who works specifically for the venue, because there's so many venues that I've worked or I've performed at where like it's the bartender who's setting it up.
Right.
Or it's not even the owner, it's the manager.
It's the bartender that got there at 2:00 and doesn't really know what's going on tonight. They just got told that there's a show.
Exactly. They don't necessarily even care about it. They just want to make money. They're there to, bartend or serve or whatever. So I think if there was a specific job set, and maybe that's for a bigger venue, they probably have that. But not a lot of local Minnesota venues have that kind of thing.
Which I feel like takes up a big, there's a lot, in Minnesota we have a lot of local venues, like small, like side of the wall kind of thing. Like you fit 50, 100 people in there, that's tops. And those are the best kind of shows for me personally. Those are the most personal shows. I love going to the Armory, and I love like getting up there and not being able to see the artist because I'm 200 feet away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you want, if you're going to, especially with like an underground artist, like the intimate shows are like, if you look from the artist side, that's how you meet your fans. That's how you engage with people the most.
And that's how you get them to actually like follow you, and actually like they get to know you, they get to respect you, and they listen to more of your music. They appreciate more of your music.
Another thing I think that venues could do to help artists more is to expand in their diversity in their music. There's a lot of, at least here in Mankato where we're from, there's one main venue right now. It's called the What's Up Lounge. And if you've ever been to the What's Up Lounge, they don't have a lot of different kinds of music there. They really only have like hip hop. I've seen EDM maybe once or twice.
Yeah, they're trying to get the EDM in there. They have had like some punk bands.
They've done punk bands and some rock stuff because that's kind of like the audience that was there. But I think like they could really, it could serve them well to expand.
Usually it's like a hip hop night or an EDM night, right? What if like having that diversity, you were able to have 4 or 5 different genres in one night and having more of a festival vibe, but in one show.
And that's another aspect of building shows, is that I'm really excited for us to expand upon with Mock Productions and F3 Entertainment, is like really exposing a whole wide variety of artists. Specifically, like in F3, for example, we've got, and if you don't know what F3 is, it stands for Forever Free Entertainment, or
Forever
F3
Free
is
Family.
Forever Free Family, Forever Free Entertainment, which is all about just like promoting local artists that have a message and a culture around it. That's all about just following your passion. And I think that like what we have so many different kinds of artists. Yourself, you make like mainly acoustic and also rap. I make pop. We have
Cole, who does punk.
Yeah, exactly right. So like we have so many different artists already, and that's something I think we're really excited to push, is showing everybody every kind of music.
Exactly.
Instead of just like having a hip hop night or having a punk night kind of a thing.
In the future, I feel like of music is crossing a lot of genres together as well, like pop punk or that kind of stuff, or like acoustic rap even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those kind of different vibes. I feel like this generation, the younger crowd of generation, is looking for something new and something, like a trend change per se.
Yeah.
If you want
something they haven't heard before.
Exactly, something they can have for their own.
Yeah, I think another thing about like, I mean, the music industry has changed so much with like the internet in the last like 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wish there was a way that, at least in Minnesota, local artists, again, this is like a very specific thing to like where we're at in Minnesota and Mankato, is like there's no, social hub that an artist can go to and they can get an information on what venues or what dates for the specific venue is open. How can I, like basically there's no path showing an artist how I can get on stage. I have so many people that come into me. I run Mock Production Studios, which is a studio here in Mankato. So many artists come in and say, how do I perform on a show? How do I get on stage?
How do I get that opportunity?
So if there was a place on like social media where everyone could go to and see like, hey, there's a thing happening. Like it's possible. I feel like that would open it up to a lot more people.
Even like open mics too and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen an open mic around here
Yeah.
in a long time.
For just a showcase of young artists, talented artists, like I think it's been rewarding having a studio here because like when I was a kid, I never had a studio to go to. So something like that, an open mic would be really, really great, actually.
Right. And the hardest part about being independent, right, is if you're independent, you might not have the followers or the likes as like big rappers do, big artists do, you know?
Yeah.
So you're trying to get to a venue, and all they're looking at is your social media output, and what you're putting out there. They're not necessarily looking at your talent. They're not necessarily looking at how, good of a song you're making or anything. They're looking at the influence you have on the people.
How many people are you going to bring out to a show?
Exactly. How are they going to make money? Which I get that it's business at the end of the day, but the fact if you're just only looking at like a person's Twitter followers, that's probably not encompassing their whole talent and their whole range within like everyone that they influence.
And also if you're gatekeeping in that way where you're not letting a certain, like let's say if you don't have more than 1,000 followers, like you're not going to be able to let the independent like growing new artist take steps to, grow even more.
Exactly.
So I think you make a good point with that.
And that's a big thing too is fresh voices, is fresh artists like I don't know. We all get hooked on this one artist. We love hearing them. But I'm the type of person that likes to look at new music. I go on my Discover Weekly. I see what else is out there. What more inspiration can I get out of new artists and people that you haven't heard before.
And even as someone who, we make music. We both are artists ourselves. I think if you just look at the consumer as a whole, the person who doesn't make music 24/7, they're I think so many times, like in high school, for example, someone would come up to me and be like, I found this new artist. I swear I'm like the first person, like people who first found Juice WRLD. You know what I mean?
Dude, that was me.
People love to like find a new up and coming artist and show it off and be like, I was the first one.
Yep.
So like allowing like fresh voices to rise up like that, especially in the local scene in Minnesota, is something we really need to support because we don't have a lot of homegrown people here. So like, just that community, I think, is something needs to strengthen.
That's really the thing about Minnesota is like how welcoming we are. I've been doing a lot of like research today, and I've seen a lot of artists say, "I want to work with more artists. I want to get more diverse in my music." And I think Minnesota artists are very eager to work with others. They're very eager to get other inspirations and find other artists that are trying to do the same thing. That's what F3 is about too. Is we're all music. We're all into music. We all make music. We all make different music, but we all have the same idea, and we have the same passion, and we have the same focus, which is just living freely and trying to express a positive attitude while you do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That was news. That was our first segment of the show. In the books. Now we're gonna go on and move to our next segment, which is kind of just like talking about like ourselves. This is the first show we've had on the Sota Show.
Yep.
Again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining.
Gotten this far, we appreciate you. But we're just gonna talk kind of about ourselves and like where we came from.
So you get to know us a little bit.
Yeah, know who you're talking to, who you're listening to. My name's Dylan, officially. I go by d.mo. And I'm from Mankato, Minnesota. I got into music initially when I was like 14, 15. And just kind of like started writing in raps in the basement. We kind of have similar stories in that way where about like every kid nowadays, we look up YouTube beats, freestyle over it, write to it a little bit. And that's kind of where you started too, right?
That's pretty much where I'm Ethan. I go by Exquisite. But also from Mankato. And yeah, same thing, you're just hanging out, you're driving around, you just turned 16. And what do you want to do? You want to blare music in your car. That's what you want to do. So what we would do is we'd drive around just finding beats and just rapping about trees that we're seeing. And
rapping about, I'm going down Main Street in Lane.
We do that. We'll be going down the road and we'll try to rap with every street name that we pass. Going down Main, now I look on Cherry. Now I'm back and it's kind of scary because I'm on Warren. And you know what I mean? It's just like
you go back and forth. Yeah, I think what's fun about that too is that like you find like your most creative self is in that flow state of when you're just like spitting about random shit. Like I think my question to you was like, how do you find your inspiration? Because like for me, I think a lot of it is like where I am.
Right.
What's the scenery? What am I looking at? How am I feeling in this specific moment?
Because I don't know, that's the most, like, imagery is a huge thing in music. It's like explaining, trying to make someone see what you're trying to explain. And like, when you're just out and about and you're just like living your own life, it's hard to kind of take a moment and just like look at where you're at, and just like appreciate where you're at too is a big thing. Because like everyone's got problems, but my inspiration is like, like seeing that I do have problems, but it's small problems.
Yeah.
And a big thing for me is seeing other people, whether it's struggle or whether it's kind of get down on themselves, and it's me trying to build people up, whether it's directly or whether it's through myself and building myself up. That's like the hardest thing to do, I feel like, is appreciate the moment you're in.
Appreciate the moment, and like, I think it's also appreciate the moment, but it's hard to talk about it sometimes, like about the real stuff. And I think like in me for music is like I want people to know that they are not alone in a way.
Right.
So that's kind of an inspiration for me, and especially coming from Mankato, I never really had a person to look up to for music. It was kind of just figuring stuff out. When I was when I graduated from high school, bought my first computer with my graduation money, started making beats and shit on GarageBand, and
classic GarageBand.
And then a year later, dropped my first ever album called Forever Free. That's where the birth of Forever Free started. You had a few songs on there?
I had a couple songs. I had 3. That was back when I was Xquisite with an E.
That's right.
Yep.
We X'd the E.
We X'd the E. We X'd the E.
Exactly.
We really did. But that was one of my first dipping my toe into the music industry. It was like Dylan at his house. He was like, yo, I got this idea. I got some songs. You want to hop on it?
This episode was brought to you. I'm going to go one more time.
all right. Third time's the charm.
This is the part where we cut in right here.
Yep, right here.
This episode was brought to you by Mock Production Studios. That's where we are right now. Mock Production Studios is based out of Mankato, Minnesota, and we've got a lot of amazing things that we're doing right now. We're throwing shows. We have recording studios. If you need recording time here at the studio, we've got plenty of rates and a lot of album packages as well. So check us out at mockproductionsstudios.com and mockproductionstudios@gmail.com for any bookings, questions. Let's get back to the show.
Concerns.
All right. That's good enough.
All right. That was a good segment.
I like it being funny and kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
ready?
like you, brother. You're
and
funny.
We are back.
Funny looking.
With what?
I said you're a pretty funny guy.
All right. So another thing that I really wanted to know, like, we talked about like what inspires us, like kind of a little bit about where we came from. From Mankato and our music origins, but like I want to know, like, how do you create the best? What is your process? What is your method of creating art, creating music?
Well, like you said earlier, I like do acoustic and stuff. So it depends on like what music I'm really trying to make. But if I'm making like acoustic music, usually me in my bed at like 2 a.m. just like doing random riffs, because like usually a lot of people write words first and then they figure out a riff to do like with the guitar, but like I'm not that experienced with the guitar yet where I can't like find notes to match the flow that I want. So I first create the riff with the guitar and then I try to write towards the riff.
Do you usually have something in your head that you're hearing, or do you just kind of like play something randomly and see what sounds good?
Usually you got to start with a vibe, you got to start with like a tone. So like I'll play the first chord, and if it's like a high note, whether it's a deep note, then I'll just kind of go from there and what sounds good in the process of it. So I kind of hear it in my head first, and then I kind of just try and recreate it with the strings.
Okay, now, if you do that, will you, like, structure out a whole song, or will you get, like, an 8-bar loop or, like, a certain, like, build it out in sections? How do you kind of, like, structure a song?
Definitely sections. Definitely in sections. I'll start with, like the first verse. I usually do verse first with guitar songs and stuff. And I'll just get that riff going. And usually I keep the same riff, maybe add a couple of hammer-ons, hammer-offs in the chorus.
Okay.
But I'll also change tones as well. So I'll either go higher in pitch, or I'll go higher in like strings.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you would just write a song to that. How's your writing process? Do you like to write alone with people?
With acoustically, I like to write alone. It's more with my acoustic stuff. I like to get more deeper into myself and like bring more of myself out. So like it's more by myself and just kind of really reaching into who I am and trying to like figure out what I'm going through at the time, or trying to just figure out a specific situation and try and put words to it, I guess you could say.
So it's more Ethan Groose than Exquisite.
It's more Ethan Groose on the guitar than it is Exquisite.
And then when you rapping, it's Exquisite.
Yeah, when I'm
It's
rapping,
Exquisite
that's a whole
tastes.
different story. I love getting together with the guys, with the F3 guys, and just throwing something together. That's what we do
Yeah.
best, is we just throw it together, and it's just fire. No matter what, we just got the energy, we got the vibe, and the chemistry, the collaboration.
True. Very true. I mean, even for my own solo stuff, I'm kind of similar in that I will just be by myself in a room. Usually I like to write. Weirdly enough, my favorite place to write and that I've always written well in is the car.
The car.
That's
Right.
something that I feel comfortable in there.
Like while you're driving. Just kidding. Not while you're driving. Don't drive and write, guys.
Sometimes it does come to that.
Yeah.
But
If you got that inspiration.
if you
right
do,
off
you have
the bat.
you have to catch it when it comes. But like
But why the car? Like,
The
why
car,
is the
I think-
car the place to go?
for some reason, I really like the vibe. I can turn it up. I can feel the most comfortable.
Right. So it's more
And-
that surround sound as well. You get the full
Yeah.
body music.
You get
around
the full range of music, and it's just something about the energy that I feel in there that I can just write super easily. And so I usually kind of write about whatever I'm feeling, or I try and think of like a concept. A lot of times though, I'll have a melody in my head first
Right.
that I'll just be singing constantly, and then I just fill in the melody like a puzzle piece.
Do you think that kind of comes back into like your roots, you know? Because like we were saying earlier, we just drove around and just like wrote about stuff. Do you think that's
Yeah.
kind of where it comes from?
I think it does come from that. Is like it's just super organic. It's how I started making music.
Right. It's
just like
comfortable.
freestyling in the car, like
Mm-hmm.
throwing on beats. And so yeah, I definitely think it's that, like, it's a nostalgia factor, and it's just a comfortability of thing. That's one of the most places I'm most comfortable.
It's where your mind feels safe. And it was tough back then, you know, when gas was like $4 a gallon.
Yeah,
It cost me like $15 just to write a song sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
honestly,
Yeah.
and it better be a good song too.
Yeah, it better be a
Otherwise-
good song. I'm out here putting miles on my car.
Otherwise, can I write that off?
Yeah, can I write? Is that a tax write-off?
Can I write
Could I
that
do that?
off, please?
Part of the business, right?
I would say so.
Yeah, I would say it's part of the business. Thank
my
you,
last-
Uncle Sam.
One more question, just for about kind of our origins and stuff.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, this is our first episode of the podcast. We've been doing music for a minute now. I've been doing it for, I would say, 9 years almost. What is one memory of music that you look back to right now that you can think of like, just, I mean, even if it's over the past year, what's like a highlight musically in your career that you've had so far?
Well, this last summer, the BDE boys got a chance to play at the Solstice Music Festival. It's here in Mankato. For me, that was just super huge because, like, coming from Mankato, I've been to Solstice like 3 times, and like I've known some of the artists there, but I've also seen a lot of artists blow up from there too as well. So it was interesting, kind of being on the other side of it and being on the stage and kind of getting able to talk to the actual artists that are there and connect with them, and just seeing the people there. Honestly, it was probably one of the bigger shows that we've had.
Definitely one
Having-
of the bigger shows.
Having all those people there, it's just a whole new feeling when you have so many people jamming out to your music, you know, because like you criticize yourself as you go. It's like, is people gonna like this? Is people gonna jam out to it? Because whether you're making music for yourself or for others, you want that vibe. You want people to be able to connect to it, and just live seeing people connect to it is awesome. And right at the end, everybody was screaming encore, one more song. It was like a movie. It was like everything you wanted it to be, it was. And I'll forever remember Solstice.
Dude, especially with, you know, how that whole weekend shaped up. I mean, it's a Solstice Music Festival is probably the biggest Mankato music festival outside of Ribfest, and this is held at like a
Land of Memories.
Land of Memories is what it's called, and a bunch of people camp out. It's right next to the river.
Yep.
It
And
was
that's
really cool.
It's another thing. We did the paddle jam.
We did the paddle jam, which is like 100 kayaks on a river, and we're on a pontoon just jamming out.
No, dude, we're not just on a pontoon. We're on a pontoon on the river, going upriver nonetheless, going like 30 miles an hour upriver,
Facts.
playing CCR, jamming
Oh,
out.
dude.
And there was this one moment where we're up there, dude, and I'm like, I'm high as a kite, like, not like, I'm high on life, okay, not anything else. I'm
Also a little high and drunk.
Yeah, so we're just having a great time, and what do you see? 2 bald eagles.
Yes.
Coming down right in front of the pontoon, just soaring with us, really escorting us to the start of the show.
It's amazing. It was a movie. It was like, it's like, Rambo before all the killing.
I just
you know
wanted
what I
to
mean?
like pledge
like,
allegiance, like
right
it
was
there,
just, honestly, with
Yeah.
those bald, it was more. It couldn't have
National
been more
anthem.
picture perfect.
Yeah, it really was. CCR bumping in the background.
Yes.
Creedence Clearwater Revival, if y'all don't know that.
And so, I mean, that was such a cool experience, as well as, people camping out. We get to have jam sessions at the campfire, but then, co-headlining that festival. That was a top-tier moment, definitely, in the last year.
Would you say the same for you about?
I would say so, too. I mean, that was such a fun experience, and just, it was, like you said, it was probably our biggest show we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
A few thousand people out at Solstice every year, which is big for Mankato.
The odd thing is like, Solstice is really bluegrassy. It's really folk music, kind of jam bandy.
Yeah.
And we're obviously not. We don't really have any live instruments. We had Jerb on the guitar, on the electric guitar.
Yep.
But
Shout out
we're
Jerb.
mostly pop, mostly like rap, and they loved it. It was I feel like it was a nice break. It was a nice kind of set off from what they've been hearing all weekend.
Yeah.
To actually be able to go out and dance like that. It was really cool to watch.
We had people come on stage with us afterwards.
Yep.
We had a whole check out the BDE Boys YouTube page. We have a vlog kind of recapping
Solstice.
that. But yeah, I mean that was probably my favorite memory. I would like to get into our last segment of the show.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's called Rapid Reactions.
So what we're gonna do is react rapidly.
So I'm just gonna fire off some questions for you.
And I have to
We're
react.
gonna do this to all of our guests. And Ethan is Xquisite is going to be giving some amazing answers.
Yeah, I'm
right
excited.
here.
I'll be
All right.
preparing for this my whole life. I'm
As
pretty sure.
fast as you can, give me these answers, and I'm gonna read them.
Is it like a yes or no, or is it like
No, this
life
is-
story kind of thing?
This is open answer, but like
okay.
like
5-paragraph essay, 12
Yes.
font. Okay.
That's very rapid, obviously.
for sure.
So,
for sure.
all right, ready?
Double spaced.
Give me tell me when to go. Give me a countdown.
Go.
Favorite movie to watch when you're sick?
Ooh, Home Alone.
Snack you would bring during an apocalypse?
Twinkies.
What would your spy code name be?
Ooh, Dr. Wiggles.
A song to jam out in the shower to?
Oh, probably I'd have to go with a Taylor Swift song. I'm not gonna lie.
Which one?
Ooh, Shake It Off.
Favorite shoe brand?
Cause I don't use towels. I just shake water off. Whenever.
Favorite shoe brand?
Favorite shoe brand? Whatever these are. I'm not sure. Hold on. Oh.
What is it?
I can't see.
It's not very rapid.
Eddie Bauer. Eddie Bauer.
Eddie Bauer. Okay, favorite winter activity?
Ice skating.
Favorite summer activity?
Ooh, performing.
First person you would call if you went to jail?
You.
Your favorite non-cursing insult?
Ooh, you blumpkin.
All right, and favorite word to describe yourself?
Ooh, exquisite.
All right.
Not bad.
Very nice. See, how do you think about my
Those are
rapid
pretty,
reactions?
Those are pretty good questions.
And you had some very fast reactions.
Like I
must
said,
say.
I've been preparing my whole life. All right, I mean, those were pretty good questions, Dylan. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. Thank you very much. I worked hard on them,
No,
obviously.
for real.
But we want to thank everyone for joining the Sota Show. It's the first episode here. We're so excited. We did it.
We did it. You know what? It was a lot of ups and downs. You know, trying to figure out the camera, trying to figure out how this whole sound thing's gonna work out.
yeah.
But hopefully it works out, and can't wait to see you guys next week.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and as well, please subscribe to the F3 Entertainment YouTube channel. Follow us on socials at the Sota Show. At d.mo go dumb on Instagram,
And Xquisite 507 on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Peace out.
All right, dude. I hope it's good. I hope they like it.
Is it on?
Okay.
Hey, what's going on? Soda Show.
Hey, Soda Show.
It's a Soda Show.
Hey,
Soda Show. We
Xquisite.
love
Hey,
you
d.mo.
guys.
Hey.
Hey guys.
I just want you to know every time I'm out on the ice, I'm shredding it. Calm down. I'm shredding it up, right? You guys are in my ear. You guys inspire me, man.
We
So-
love you guys. And Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
Kirk.
He's doing good this
He
year.
is.
So,
Okay, we got a song. We got a theme song for you guys.
Okay.
You guys can play only if you guys like it though.
you ready?
Okay, here we go.
For your show, if you want to put on a show.
Yeah. Okay, good.
you guys so much.
We love you. We love you